We now return to Reckoning of New York, the Lifeline Hope. We're hoping our tech whiz proxy lives up to our reputation and we get in and out of the circulatory system pronto, chock full of data in hand. Pedrick and I spent a solid 5 minutes just gazing up at the building we're about to infiltrate, our necks craned, completely silent. Color me psyched, I guess. That's one massive fucking building if I've ever seen one. Indeed, it might complicate our plan, as vague as it is. It's probably packed with high-tech security and the usual batch of guards lurking around every corner. Yet there are also plenty of empty spots we could use to lay low. Look at you, picking up the tricks of the trade. Let's not just sit around. Time is running out. The interior of the circulatory system branch is artfully incognito, masquerading as a budget-friendly medical clinic. It's the perfect cover, under the radar, ignored by the upper classes and the authorities, and with a constant, justifiable stream of visitors at all hours, even the ungodly ones. Like right now, for instance. Threat increased. Here I am, ready to dive into the fray. How do you propose? Maybe you could stir up a little chaos, distract them for me? That could work, shall we? I give him a nod, and before my eyes, Pedrick transforms into something wholly different. He morphs into a figure of pure outrage and despair, shoulders hunched, head down, jaws clenched. He's the image of a man fueled by fury, ready to explode. He marches over to the reception desk while I fold myself into his shadow and become practically invisible. Before the bewildered receptionist can get a word out, Pedrick leans in menacingly and begins his tirade, his voice booming with a rough Midwestern twang. Do I have to do that? I need to see your manager now. My mama died in this goddamn place because of your negligence. Hand over her files, or I'm blasting her incompetence across every news platform there is. Wow, look at you go, Karen. I clench my teeth hard to hold back my laughter, and with all eyes in the foyer glued to Pedrick, I slip away from the storm, glide through the back door unseen. After a solid 15 minutes of dodging every footstep I hear and slinking from shadow to shadow through the circulatory system's underground maze, I finally reach a particular glass door. There's a large laboratory on the other side, in which I spy incomprehensible glass gadgets, several rows of coolers with blood, and a PC connected to the local internet. Or intranet, rather. Perfect. A quick scan confirms I'm alone. At least for the moment. The door is secured with a numeric keypad and a card reader. Clearly they think their staff have sieves for brains and need 2 ways to get in. Which for me, though. Now I could try figuring out the code from the worn-out keys, but who's got time for that? I pull out my trusty universal access card. Just happen to have that. Wait for that satisfying beep and glide through the door. Just as I step inside, I feel something small scuttle between my boots. I glance down. A mouse? Really? Is this the level of cleanliness we're dealing with here? This little bloodthirsty critter probably chews on blood bags for fun. Like a mouse? Not a rat? In New York? As the little pest dashes off, I approach the PC. It's password protected, of course. Hacking isn't exactly my forte, but I'm good at predicting mortal laziness. The password was on a post-it stuck to a notebook on the desk. Copying the database is child's play with Hope's dongle. Plug it in, and it does all the work for me. So, here's the thing, right, where the game could have provided a little bit of challenge. Locked door, password on the PC, opportunity to put some choice in there, but no, it's a source of conflict that isn't. It's just hand wave it away. Copying the database is child's play with I plug it in, it does all the work for me. All I have to do is glance up from time to time to keep watch. Everything is transferred in less than a minute. And it still took too long. I'm already packed up and approaching the door when I hear the clacking of high heels on the tiled floor, paired with the muffled murmurs of someone in a bad mood. I dash toward the door and grab the handle when a short, dark-haired woman in a lab coat rounds the corner. Fuck. Oh, okay, so here we go. I could have used atavism, but, Cloak of Shadows? I guess? I guess. Which one did I have? Both of these are good. So, let's do Cloak of Shadows. Shadows protect me. I release the door handle and press my back against the wall, subconsciously ignored by an observer, or any observer, as long as I keep perfectly still. The lab worker enters the code and steps into the lab, muttering under her breath as she moves around collecting various utensils. I resist the urge to get a better look at what she's carrying. Why didn't you slip out the door? Nima, be kind. Nima, work hard. Nima, how am I supposed to endure another, 50 years of this nonsense? Just behave and wait, they said. Be thankful for our generosity, they said. Serve us well, they said. But no one warned me I'd be a lackey for nearly a century. She sighs and massages her face tiredly. It's all good, all good. I'll get what I want eventually. Just keep at it, Nima. And with that she exits, her heels clacking sharply down the hall. I might actually feel bad for her if she weren't a direct threat to me right now. Well, never mind. I can't waste my window of opportunity. As soon as she disappears from view, I spring into action, darting through the door and racing across the tiled floor toward the foyer. I'm almost there. Almost there. But then, bam, I slam right into a security guard making his rounds. Like, seriously, could I be any more clumsy? Seriously, could you be any more clumsy? You're in the shadows. You got power that I just wasted. I managed to slow down just in time, but dang, it's a close call. He's knocked to the ground, but gets his... What do you mean you slowed down just in time? You slam into him and knock him to the ground. How is that slowed down just in time? What the He's knocked to the ground, but gets his bearings immediately and jumps to his feet. His hand goes for the taser at his hip, and his mouth opens to order me around, but no sound comes out of it. That's because I give him a swift roundhouse kick to the head and floor him. I briefly consider dragging him somewhere less conspicuous, but nah, ain't got time for that. I'm already busted. So I haul ass to the foyer, praying Pedric's done playing Karen and is ready to scram, like yesternight. Also hope there aren't any security cameras beeping away here. When I slip back into the foyer, Pedric's still going off on the poor receptionist, now joined by 2 other red-faced employees, desperately trying to calm down the entitled jerk. Also, here was another point of conflict that we just didn't have to deal with. I catch his eye for a fraction of a second and nod curtly before zipping toward the exit. And, you know what? You can take your fancy talk and shove it where the sun don't shine. Fuck you and see you in court. Storms off, actually beating me in our little race out the door. Once we're clear of that boring beige foyer, we bolt to the car and hop in within seconds. It's unclear if they noticed someone making off with their precious data, but the circulatory system doesn't immediately come after us, at least. Pedric's clearly geared up for a pursuit, the way he's maneuvering through the streets, pedal to the metal, eyes flicking around like a paranoid squirrel on the lookout for a tail. Is this really how we had to hack this? Does any hacking happen this way? Surely, if we had a hacker friend who could give us this magic little dongle, they could have broken in through the network, whatever. Nitro, let's go faster. I mean, we are a daredevil, so Nitro. Woohoo, let's fucking go! Whoops. I can practically see the need for speed in his eyes, but in the end he eases off the accelerator, blending into traffic as we head back toward Manhattan. I'm guessing your part of the caper went smooth? Smooth as silk. Ran into a lab rat and a rent-a-cop downstairs, but nothing I couldn't handle. New journal entry added. Is that true? Is that a logbook? I have no idea what that added. Quite an adventurous night, I see. I toss my head back and laugh, catching his genuine smile out of the corner of my eye. You could say that. And you? Enjoyed going berserk on those corporate drones? He shrugs, all casual-like. I have little sympathy for venture ghouls. Or ventru ghouls. As far as I'm concerned, they signed up for this job and all its perks. It's cold, man. Impressive, too. Stick around me a little longer and I'll make a con artist out of you just yet. Who's to say I'm not one already? I can't help but burst into laughter again, straight from the depths of my shriveled heart, completely genuine. Okay. Sure, the heist could have gone smoother, but hey, it's the results that matter, right? Either way, we made it out of the circulatory system with the stolen data and no heat around the corner. I don't know, it did say that my thing went up. The danger and all that went up. So if I had chosen a different path, would I have lost that? See, I don't get, how could that have gone wrong? I'm choosing disciplines here that are to my great advantage, and yet I've only got 2 out of 5, so am I just hitting all the dice rolls perfectly and nothing bad is coming of these choices? Because I have yet to see where that would be a problem, you know? Would the story really change? If I really, really changed this and put all 5 of my points into 1, would I have really gotten some major story change between all that? In which case, I probably wasted this. I should have just picked 2 hoping that, like, in all the choices I would have had at least one of them that wasn't like animalism. I'm just curious about the game mechanics, because right now, it just feels like we're on rails and nothing matters. In the world of maybes, let's pray Hope can unravel the data we scraped from the USB thingy of hers, that I'm not going to be forced to pay for that with my dignity once more. This time we enter the server room in the basement of Double Spiral, escorted once again by Nastya. Hope is there, no games, in the flesh, to meet us. She doesn't spare us a glance, though, her eyes still glued to her phone as she impatiently extends her hand, gesturing for me to hurry up. I give her a low 5 first, but then she shoots me a displeased look. When she shoots me a displeased look, I obediently hand over the dongle. She plugs it into a laptop, and suddenly all of the nearby screens spring to life, displaying a whole wall of text, photos, and links to videos and voice recordings. Hope starts blitzing through the data silently, scanning multiple pages at once, too fast for me to keep up. I glance at Pedrick, wondering if it's a Malkavian thing. If maybe he can read it all, but his confused expression tells me it's just a Hope thing. She finishes in mere minutes, then stretches in her chair before promptly returning to her phone. Thanks, there's a goldmine of info in that database. Yeah, totally. And about Reynard? The moment her hands freeze in mid-air chills me to the bone. Luckily, her thumbs start dancing on the phone again soon after. The mess he got himself wrapped up in? Well, it's way deeper than I thought. She points offhandedly at one of the screens, a scan of a report from the FBI's Special Affairs Division. The file, apparently intercepted by an unnamed circulatory system associate, is chock full of Reynard. Photos, videos, you name it. This sin list over here, he's up to his neck in shit, peddling rare blood, mortal trafficking. Well, that's a given. Corroborating with the SAD? The SAD? Yeah, sure. Diablerie. Hope's voice drops, her brows knit together in a deep frown. You'd think that would be added to my list. I forget what diablerie is. Isn't that when you, fully exsanguinate somebody? That's bullshit. Of course it is. Despite the storm brewing in her data, her demeanor remains eerily serene. Wish I could say the same for myself. I can feel Pedrick's gaze on me, but I refuse to meet it in fear that he might actually read something from my eyes. I'm no saint, okay? Most of that stuff kind of rings a bell. A mere, a week ago, I was the one pulling the strings behind the merchandise transfers through my dark web channels. Not that I always knew what was being shuffled around. I'm not sure how much I would have cared even if I knew. I've dabbled in some truly nasty shit, both after and before my embrace. Okay, so that hot mess is what literally catapulted your sire to the top of the circulatory systems list. Is there anything else worth mentioning? Yep, arms trade. The fuck? That's actually news to me. Also, again, it's not like it's unheard of, kindred dipping their toes and selling guns. And is that an issue? Nope, at least until you take a peek at whom he's trading with. But I mean, there's no way he could pull off, like, a weapon deal with a high-profile mortal. It's just too small for that, I think. I decide to take the bait. And who might this mortal be? Hope gags a little, her nose still stuck in her phone. She flicks her wrist and the report scrolls a couple pages down. Didn't say, and the rest of the note is all redacted. Must be someone major. Seriously, I'm dying to know who it is. Oh, and speaking of big names, this bit says Red Ray's been involved with that Hudson vampire Vritra. By the way, she's also, or I suppose she would be actually saying BTW. BT Dubs, she's also way up there on the circulatory system's hit list. Be a random thing, or maybe not. But they barely have any deets on her. Figures, she's very sneaky. Vitae freezes in my veins. I exchange bleak glances with Pedrick, remembering Sans Sarik's words. About Reynard getting even cockier with his new powerful patron, the self-appointed queen of the Hudson River. Maybe it's a good idea to wheedle some more information about her out of Hope. Vritra, I know that name. Yeah, I heard about her a little bit. Pedrick shoots me a warning look, which frankly I don't understand. Intel is power, my guy. Honestly, we only get scraps of info about her. Nobody's got any solid gossip. And you? She lets out a distracted From what I can tell, which honestly isn't much, she's definitely mixed up in some nasty shit. So word is she might be linked with the Black Hand. But honestly, if there was any proof, I'd have totally found it by now. Pedrick visibly twitches and gets busy spinning his ring. Black Hand? You mean the Sabbat? Aren't they extinct on the East Coast? They were driven out of New York City 2 decades ago. It does not mean they're extinct. How do you always know so, or just too much, Patty? Seriously, my offer is still on the table. I could really use someone with your knack for sniffing things out. Thank you, but I must decline. Shame, but as I said, I don't think she's with the Sabbat. It just doesn't jibe with her modus operandi. To elaborate on that? She sighs deeply as if my questions are a real pain, but then starts talking almost immediately. Maybe she actually wants to talk, but can't, because she's got a reputation to uphold. Is she working her info broker magic as we speak? Homegirl is diligent, that's for sure. Like a year and a half ago, Vrita just popped up in New York overnight, took over the whole Hudson River and half of Staten Island as her domain, then just ghosted everyone. What do you mean? I thought she's been keeping the city in check the whole time. Yeah, she has, but honestly, she's been lying pretty low for a kindred. I mean, anyone who tries to talk to her ends up dead, and she totally shuts down any attempt at muscling in on her turf. I will say, though, if Red Ray really is teamed up with her and still has his head, major props to him. Tower probably wants him just for managing to pull that off. But let's be real, whatever drama they're stirring up, it's definitely not part of his plan. I furrow my brows. It's an angle I haven't even thought about, and by the look of her sheer panic flashing over by the look of sheer panic flashing over Pedric's face, neither has he. No one gets what Vritra's playing at, and that's why everyone's so antsy. Stability is key here in New York, and she's anything but that. From what I've seen, that's pretty much the typical kindred push and pull in big cities. Seems to me like she's just the other side of the same coin here, but with one non-negotiable rule. Pedric butts in, his voice firm and cold. Yes, don't fuck with Vritra. Hope shrugs, but says nothing more, eyes firmly stuck on her phone. Deploy subterfuge. That's kind of what we do, yeah? I crane my head and not so subtly try to read the scrolling pages. The name Addison Payne is peppered throughout the section of the document. Addison Payne, Addison Payne. Hey, isn't it this old fart in a wheelchair? Isn't it from the Camarilla? That's an awkwardly worded sentence. Hope gives a dismissive Payne? Sure is. This report's kind of making some guesses about him. Yeah? What kind of guesses? So these bits aren't from the SAD report, they're straight from the circulatory system based on whatever stuff they dug up in the file. There's some buzz about Addison Payne and where he really stands, especially since he supposedly bought spiked blood from your sire. Payne buying from Castle? Why would he do that? A Ventru of his position has no need to stoop so low. They kind of thought the same at first, but then, like a month ago, some of the big shots started pushing to cut off his access to his circulatory system assets until they figure things out. Maybe they just used the opportunity for a power grab, maybe not. What's that supposed to mean? Hope shrugs, tucking her hair back behind her ears. There's always been something iffy about Payne, especially since you can never be sure if his lackey is a trustworthy proxy. What's that supposed to mean? But Hope simply ignores me, fully absorbed in whatever she's doing on that phone of hers. I swear her eyes flick up toward us for no more than a split second. It's everything I got for you, the rest is just goodies for me, trust. Right, sure. Any chance I could get a copy of that report? Hope freezes, eyes bulging like she just saw a ghost, and then starts cracking up, fingers flying over her phone even faster. Good luck with your endeavors, you're going to need it. And much more than that. New journal entry. It's not that. Addison Payne, possibly? Ventru Primogen? Didn't we already look at him? Caleb... God, I really wish... Okay, I guess maybe Nima? Employee at the Underground Laboratory, Blood Storage and Logistics Hub for the Brooklyn branch of the Circulatory, insignificant both in her role in industry and as a ghoul. Nima's one of the many negligible servants. Yet they gave her an entry. It's like everybody else here that just only showed up for a short time. Yeah, I don't even know, man. You'd think it would give me something like Diablerie. It's a definition? It's got some... I'm pretty sure. Is feeding off the dead, maybe? Is that what that is? Anyway, I forget. Were we still mortal, after all the revelations of tonight, Pedric and I probably would hunker down in the dim corner of a bar, drinking our... well, mine, mostly, sorrows away, and unraveling the tangled skein of our findings. Since we can't stomach alcohol, we just wander around in silence for a while until we settle on a tiny little bench hidden beneath a naked winter tree. There, well, I'd like to say that we talk, but it's more like a floodgate bursting from within me, unleashing a tidal wave of pent-up frustrations, and Pedric just quietly lets me rant, slowly spinning his ring and nodding from time to time. The sheer number of times Reynard pops up in these sad files is pretty fucking concerning, not only because of the actual shit he's pulled, but also because he's been so goddamn sloppy about it. They have so much stuff on him, stuff that could have easily been avoided if he just, I don't know, put a bit of thought into his actions and kept me in the loop, maybe? Like, it's no coincidence that there's nothing specific about me in that file, you know? Clean up after myself thoroughly, I think. Regular people wouldn't find shit, and Reynard left so much fucking trail behind him, I'm surprised he's not in some kindred Guantanamo by now. They could have bagged him without breaking a sweat. Pedric gives a skeptical hum, leaning forward and examining his ring. And yet, they haven't. Perhaps that speaks volumes about your sire's ability to dodge bullets, even deep in hostile trenches. Are we on some kind of one-way? We can't be, though. All the traffic is coming from this direction. Bus is on the wrong side of the road, and yet if it were one way, why would there be a traffic light pointing that way? If it were a one-way coming our way, it would make sense, but this is not the right side of the road for New York. Just an observation. Perhaps that speaks volumes about your sire's ability to dodge bullets even deep in hostile trenches. I snort inelegantly. Yeah, I guess. He's Ravnos, after all. There's a few beats of silence before Pedric speaks up again. Any idea why Reynard might be dealing in arms with a mortal? I sigh deeply, feeling the air expand my lungs more than humanly possible, and shake my head. Honestly, Pedric, I feel like I don't know shit anymore. I mean, Reynard was never particularly precious towards mortals, so I thought maybe we'd end up wrangling some eventually, but now, I just don't know. Plus arms dealing? That's so, I don't know, it's not our style, you know? We're Ravnos, we're tricksters, con artists, not warlords. I can't recall dealing with a single mortal since my embrace almost 2 years ago. If Reynard was peddling something, I'd expect it to be fake shit, decoys or whatever, but guns? This doesn't make any sense. Pedric gives that deliberate cough of his, prelude to dropping some unsettling truth. I hate to be the bearer of harsh truths, but I get the feeling that you never truly knew your sire. A couple of nights ago I would have flipped out at that suggestion, but now, collect a handful of gravel from the ground and toss it bit by bit into a puddle of melting snow. It's all bullshit. So what? Like, is this... It's bullshit as in him, or... Guess I don't even know anymore. I don't know, can anybody say they really know someone? Hell, do we even know ourselves? Pedric smiles at me. What are we, if not the secrets we keep, right? I smile right back at him. Who came up with that nugget? I need to shake her hand or something. You know, I think you shouldn't be blaming yourself for his dishonesty. It's quite literally not your fault. Nobody can go through this ordeal expecting to be crossed at every moment, especially, well, I don't know, man, like, given that you're all vampires, and this seems to be a regular occurrence in these sorts of games, or in the dark world of darkness series, anyway, especially by those we trust the most. That'd be a pretty miserable existence, don't you think? Isn't that literally what happens in the first game, though? I'm not equipped to unpack all that right now, sorry. Besides, I have no cash on me for that therapy session you're pushing for, Dr. Conroy. The smile is a little wry, but not hostile at all. You know, thinking about it, we've been hunting down my sire for 4 nights, and I realize I know jack shit about yours. Care to share a bit, in the spirit of this painfully awkward moment? He keeps quiet for a little while. Frankly, I can't tell you much about them because I don't know myself. What do you mean? I simply don't know who embraced me. He clears his throat and hesitates while I fight the urge to dig deeper. It's a faint memory now, but I remember almost dying toward the end of World War II, somewhere along the Western Front, I think. Then I remember crawling out of a pile of corpses the next night. That's all. I assume I was embraced by a fellow soldier, but there's really no way to confirm. Pedric, I'm so sorry. I pat him awkwardly on the shoulder, and he nods, looking not at me, but at his lucky ring. I've come to terms with it, but I appreciate the sentiment. We sit in silence a bit longer. There aren't many people around, but the city still feels alive, bustling even at 3 in the morning in late December. The air between us is a little tense. Probably shouldn't have prodded about his sire, but, well, I'm me. I scramble for a new topic and remember how we haven't... Christ, if I could just read what's on the screen, that'd be great. I scramble for a new topic and remember we haven't finished discussing our latest scoop from the circulatory systems database. So what I can't wrap my head around is why someone like Payne, a big-shot Ventru, would go to such lengths to avoid buying blood through the company he partially owns. Is he, trying to back out, tank their stock on purpose, or what? Maybe he's plotting to start his own gig. Hard to see how, with all the Ventru red tape. Maybe. Could he be setting up Reynard as his go-to supplier, or is that stretching it too much? Indeed, that does seem like a stretch. It's an audacious, almost disrespectful move. Not really Payne's way of doing things, especially when he's trying to usurp Panard. But why else would he do that? The file did say he was buying spiked blood from Reynard. That's oddly specific. Maybe that particular type wasn't available through the circulatory system. I mean, all blood bags are spiked. That's the only reason they stay edible. One of the reasons why the resident Duskborn alchemist had so much shit to do all the time in our gang. Pedrick comes thoughtfully, slowly spinning his ring. Well, I'm stumped. But hopefully we can find a way to use that information to your advantage when we face the council. You mean, exposing Payne as a fraud right in front of everyone? Damn, Conroy, that's some serious badassery for you. It would be badassery if we had any evidence of these suspicions, which we, unfortunately, do not. I deflate a little, clicking my tongue. I guess that's an obstacle. And how does Vritra fit into all of this? The ever-elusive mistress of the Hudson River. Think we could dangle her as bait before the council? Pedrick stills and stiffens, spinning the dice ring as fast as his hands allow. Fuck, I forgot he's so irrationally terrified of her. I'm grasping at straws, I know, but everyone's freaked out by her. I'm not saying Reynard usually shies away from tough cases, but there's so many easier targets to scam. It's also fucked up. I don't get any of it. I don't understand either. So doesn't want to talk about her. Fine, I'll let him off the hook this time. The weight of tonight's events is starting to crush me, and maintaining this upbeat mask is draining anyway. Thankfully, this time it's Pedrick who breaks the awkward silence. Tonight marks the last night in the grace period Kadir gave you. We were given a week. What do you mean? All our leads have dried up. It's unlikely we would find anything else of use anyway. I think we have enough circumstantial proof to clear your name in the eyes of the council. We could trade it for your freedom. Meaning for a longer leash. Or you mean for a longer leash. They won't clear me unless I hand over Reynard, and we both know it. Sure, we have some solid clues, but they're just that. The way the Camarilla treated me. I'm not exactly optimistic about returning empty-handed. Best case scenario, they order me to stay in the city and give me another impossible task. Worst case scenario, Kadir takes my head clean off my shoulders. And I don't even know where that leaves you. Technically, you were just supposed to keep an eye on me, but I gesture vaguely and Pedrick sighs, defeated. Yeah. He squints at the starless sky. There's still time until sunrise. I doubt we'll find anyone at Elysium tonight. He gives me a careful once-over, doubt and pity clear as stars in his eyes. Do you have a safe place to stay the day? You're welcome at my haven, which I can't do, Pedrick, once a week. You're welcome at my haven if needed. The couch should still be there, I believe. I crack a faint smile. Still be there, huh? Good thing you didn't get into sales because you wouldn't sell shit. I have some options, I guess. I've only used a couple of our safe houses around New York so far. I don't know. Can I catch up with you later or something? Like in 3 days' time when the week is gone? I need some time to think, on my own. He looks at me for a long while, tilting his head hesitantly, while his spidery fingers slowly spin his dice ring. Then he just stops and nods curtly. Take your time. I'll wait for you until dawn. I chuckle disbelievingly, unable to keep just a little bit of bitterness creeping into my voice. What if I skip town or something, taking advantage of your misguided generosity? I don't think you will. You haven't thus far, have you? You haven't thus far, have you? He stands, looking down at me intently. I still believe we can turn this Titanic around before it crashes into the iceberg. We just need to get a hold of the steering wheel. He gives my shoulder a reassuring pat and strides off into the night, leaving me to my ruminations. Yeah, we don't have to feed. We could go on a detour for... Is there a reason to? Blood and cigarettes, detour. I don't know what to do anymore. Thinking is a dead end, but clearing my head seems equally out of reach. I've got to at least try to get my shit together, or I might as well cut off my own head before the sheriff does it for me. Feeding opportunity. We don't need to do that. The buffet's stacked. Plenty of mortals roaming around late at night, so what's going to be on the menu tonight? Maybe those two lovebirds we've been strolling down the same path with me. I mean, I really don't see a reason to do this. Like, maybe this, but that just seems like it would be a bigger chance to get me in trouble. Feeding is a necessity. We have to do that, but I don't see how this lowers threat, and frankly, we don't need to worry about it. Threat seems fine. I mean, for the sake of extra story, sure, but there doesn't seem to be a purpose to these side quests. I don't get it. I think we should just stick with the main story, frankly. Rolling the idiots in the circulatory system paid off, though I wish it hadn't. The intel Hope found on Reynard paints him as a colossal asshole. Apparently Vritra has a big hand in this case, and somehow Addison Payne does too. And there's some sort of affluent arms-dealing mortal in the mix as well. Honestly, I'm at a loss. But there is still one more thing. The night isn't over. Even though he said it's 3 a.m. I guess we'll continue on that one, but not right now. I'll see you next time.